Hello, guys. I wanted to take today and help you go through the study guide for our upcoming quiz. I just need to grab that study guide. So I want to take a little bit of time today to maybe answer some of your questions, go through this, make sure you guys are getting this, and make sure that we are all prepared for our first quiz on this unit. All right, so let's go through question by question. One, what is tragedy of the commons? Provide an example. So I want you to remember, tragedy of the commons is when we have an area of land or maybe a part in the ocean that everybody uses, okay? It's a common area right there. It's a common area. And it's a tragedy because everybody is using that area and its resources. So essentially what they're doing is they are depleting all the resources that are there, okay? So it's right in the name, tragedy of the commons. It's a bad thing, a tragedy that's occurring to a common area that everybody is using, all right? Provide an example, maybe the ocean and fishing, right? People overfish in the ocean. It's a common area. People are taking too many fish out. That's actually what happened with Cape Cod. Cape Cod was named originally because all of the codfish that were there and that were available. No longer are they there in such high numbers. It's a tragedy of the commons. Everybody went there. They essentially outfished the cod that were there, and now the population is very, very low. It is making a comeback, but it is low. So that's what tragedy of the commons is. Two, what is maximum sustainable yield and what? Okay, so maximum sustainable yield, again, it's right in the name, right? Maximum sustainable yield is the amount of resources you could take from an area without depleting it, without harming it, without hurting it, okay? We're trying to get as much as we can, but still leave enough there that we can go back later, all right? If you have, I know I'm going back to fishing, right? But if you have a pond and you have 100 fish in there, you know you can go there and catch 50 of them. And the other 50 will be there to reproduce, okay? They'll stay, they will allow for babies that'll produce future generations. If you know though, if you start to catch 60, 70, 80 of them, it's going to be very unlikely that those fish will survive. So you want to catch as many as you can, maybe at that threshold 50, right? But you still leave enough there that they'll reproduce. That's what maximum sustainable yield is. You're going to get as much as you can without harming the environment. How are we doing so far? Good? Okay, remember, pause this, stop this, replay it if you need to hear this again. 3, what is the difference between economic value and the ecological value with regard to a forest? So, okay, let's go to the big board for this one. So 3. So economical. Economic, we mean money. We're talking about lumber. We are talking about plants used for medicine. So we also mean here building materials, right? Materials. Let's see, what else? Economic value. I'm sure you guys are screaming at the computer screen right now trying to remind me about other things that a forest is important for, and I know it is. Let's see, what else? What is the difference? Okay, ecological value. So this was economic. What about ecological? So ecological value, think about all the pollinators, right? Think about the filtration that the tree roots do. Also think the tree roots stop erosion. Don't forget, a forest provides a habitat for organisms. So we could see the difference between economic value and ecological value. Okay, economic is money-based, ecological is helping the environment, like these different little things that go on in the environment, whether it's pollution or filtration or stopping erosion or pollinating. Okay. All right. Number 4. What are the 3 ways in which we could harvest timber? Ooh, very good. What are the 3 ways in which we could harvest timber? Let's take a look at number 4. We have 4. We have clear cutting. We have selective. And we have strip. Okay. Describe the 3 ways in detail. Well, clear cutting is where you go and you cut everything down. Nothing is left. You cut everything. Selective, you go in and you're cutting certain trees. Maybe you have a big tree here and a little tree here, right? You're gonna cut this one, but you're gonna leave the little one so that it can grow up one day, right? Or maybe there's like some down trees here. You're gonna take those out too because you're gonna try and clean up. You're gonna try and take away that fuel wood. Don't forget about that fuel wood with regard to prescribed burns, right? So that's selective. You're not cutting everything. You're being selective. Strip cutting is where you go in and you cut strips down. So you're cutting this one, but you're leaving up trees around it. You're essentially cutting in straight lines. All right. 5, which method is easiest for logging companies? So which one is the best for the logging companies, but worse for the environment? Let's kind of open this up a little bit. So let me get rid of this. So let's see. Green will be what's good for the companies and what's good for the environment. So clear cutting is good for the loggers. They are happy with clear cutting because it makes life very, very easy. Clear cutting is probably worse for the environment. All right? Because you're cutting everything, you're decimating everything. You're just leaving a flat piece of land. Now let's switch it. Which one is best for the environment and the worst one for the loggers? Think about this. Are you giving me answers? I can't hear you. Now I can hear you guys. All right. The best one for the environment is selective. It's because you're going through and you're taking only certain ones. You're still leaving a good majority of the forest standing. Which one is worse for the loggers or most difficult? You're right, it's selective. Because it takes a lot of time and skill. They can't just go in like clear cutting and cut everything down. That's easy. They have to go in and selectively prune each one or take one by one. Is this one? Is this one? Is this one? You know, maybe this one's gonna come down, but this one's not. And that takes a lot of skill and time. So remember those 2, okay? So we just covered in this, we covered 5, which method is the easiest for the log companies? That's clear cutting. 6, which method takes the most time and funds? That's selective for the loggers. And 7, which method is the most dangerous for the environment? That's clear cutting, worse for the environment. So we are going to stop with this one. This included questions 1 through 7. Tune in to the next video for questions 8 through 14, and that will wrap it up for you guys on your first study guide. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Mr. F, out.